The host, baby.
Yo, we should have figured this out before we went live. What's popping, everybody? Welcome back to another quick hit from Green with Envy. Today, we're on a somber note, but maybe a good note, depending on how you want to look at it. Kristaps Porzingis will not be playing in the FIBA World Cup. He will be rehabbing a foot injury that looks like it's a plantar issue. He released a statement on Twitter earlier today when basically in what we had to translate, it was all sorts of, I just couldn't read it. He's feeling bad. He wanted to play in the World Cup. This is another star that's pulled out now. So the World Cup is throwing me off with putting me on the spot to host. The World Cup is losing stars left, right, and center at this point. Kristaps being the latest, but for Celtics fans, given what happened to Danilo Gallinari last season with the ACL injury, this is probably like best case scenario. Allow Kristaps the off season to recover, to work with the Celtics medical staff, and then be in the best shape possible for him heading into the new season. Greg, how are you feeling about this, bro?
Well, first, I feel like we have to throw some apologies out there to our guy Rupert. Right, we were all doubting Rupert. I think it was like Rupert Fazig or Fabig, whatever his name was, where he came out with that report last week that Kristaps was actually dealing with this injury, and everybody was a little bit skeptical. But it seems like this, Rupert was right. He had all the right sources. The plantar fasciitis, that's definitely something that can be overcome, but you need to rest it. Right, you cannot push a plantar fasciitis injury. It's something that needs, weeks to months to heal. And I just like that he was able to have the wherewithal and the foresight to see that this, as much as he wanted to play for his country, coming into the season with a chance to play for an NBA championship, full health was the priority for him. And I'm glad that he already has this relationship with the Celtics organization and the medical staff to make that joint decision, because you're really starting to establish that trust there. It stinks for the guy. I wanted to see him play in the FIBA World Cup. I want everybody to be happy, to be healthy. But Porzingis, as you said, Adam, it's a little bit of a somber note. We can't see him play, but we're not going to see him severely injured. He's taken a precautionary measure to be ready for training camp, and I think that's the right move.
Let's be honest. Have you ever had a plantar issue? Have you ever had that injury on your foot? Because, man, it hurts like hell.
Tell me about it. I've never had one.
That I literally that's it. It just hurts, dude. It hurts when you walk. It hurts the more.
So it's the bottom of your foot?
Yeah, it's like the archway, right? It's like at the very, where your foot kind of arches over. It's like that bit there. You can get special soles for your shoes, but it doesn't help massively. Like, it alleviates the pain a little bit when walking, but running and jumping, especially, I never even attempted to jump. But I can imagine that that's just past discomfort. It's gonna hurt, especially. And I'm a big guy. Kristaps Porzingis is over a foot taller than me. So, like, the bigger you are, the more weight you're going to be putting down on that. I think the best thing for him is to rest at this point. As you said, he's building trust with the organization. For Celtics fans, yeah, okay, we don't really have a horse in the race now once it comes to the FIBA World Cup in terms of an individual. But that just means we can enjoy the basketball without needing to be overly biased or overly worried every time there's a hard foul or somebody takes a hard hit to the floor after going for a layup or a dunk. It means we can just enjoy it a little bit more. This is off season, baby, man. We're not meant to be stressing about injuries this early. I'm fine with Kristaps sitting out.
Yeah, I'm fine with him sitting out too, and I'm happy that he's sitting out so that he can be healthy for training camp. But obviously, this begs the question that a lot of people had when we made the Marcus Smart trade for Kristaps Porzingis: is why are we taking on the risk of a 7-footer with a history of lower body injuries? So when you see already, he's 28 years old, or 27 turning 28. I don't know if he's turned 28 yet, but with Porzingis's history of lower body injuries, do you think that this is a harbinger of things to come, or is it too soon to speculate on something like that?
Yeah, I mean, this is the type of injury that you can't really predict. It kind of just comes, it happens. And I don't think it's the type of injury that's going to keep him out for a prolonged period, as long as he rests correctly and he works with the medical staff. Is it a harbinger of doom? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, when you look at most of the talented big men in the NBA, they all suffer with lower body injuries, and lower body kind of like just nagging pains because they're big and because they're banging more. They're in that position where they're on the block more. Embiid suffers with it. Anthony Davis, obviously, they're on a different level to what Porzingis is. But the point I'm making is, the bigger you are, the more likely you are to sustain these lower body injuries. I think that when you look at the talent that you're bringing in, what he brings to the team in terms of being able to play 5'8", being able to give you some post offense, some low block offense, and being able to kind of free up that mid range a little bit more for some actions to be run there. The deal made sense, and the Celtics are a better unit because of it. But yeah, you do acquire some of that risk when you go for a big guy, and unfortunately, most talented big men come with this injury risk.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm a little concerned with Porzingis's foot injury. It's almost like when you hear foot injury on big man, like you think of guys like Bill Walton back in the day, even I forget where I think Ilgauskas was Lithuanian. I think Ilgauskas is Lithuanian, but he was a really talented 7'3" European, and he had some foot injuries. And him, after his foot injuries, was not the same player that he was early in his career. He ended up moving around like Frankenstein for the last 5 years of his career just because of a foot injury. So when you hear foot injury, you get a little bit nervous, but when you hear it's just plantar fasciitis, which is just, as you said, a nagging injury that comes from wear and tear. Joel Embiid had that injury, as you said. I'm pretty sure that's the injury that LeBron had this season as well, right? It just happens. You step the wrong way, you can pop that thing, and it's unfortunate that Porzingis is going to be missing the FIBA World Cup, but for Celtics fans, you got to feel pretty good about that. I do want to talk really quickly, Adam, about the FIBA World Cup. Have you been able to watch any Team USA, or have you been able to watch any of the other games that have been on TV?
I have not. So it hasn't really been covered here. Somebody hooked me up with a free league pass on courtside 1891 or 1981 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Someone hooked me up with a free league pass there, and I got hooked up with that this morning. So I will be catching up over the next few days. I can also hook anyone up with 20% off on that as well. They hooked me up. I don't make any money off that. That's just, hey, here's a free one for you. And if you know anyone that wants it, they can get 20% off. Again, I don't make no money. So it's, if you want it, it's there. But for me, it's definitely going to be catching up. I want to watch a bit of Team USA. I'd like to watch some Spain. I think that Shai is going to be one of the breakout stars of the entire tournament. I'd like to see how they're featuring him, how they're using him, utilizing him, and how teams are trying to slow him down. And then part of me really wants to look at some of these Baltic teams from the Baltic states to see how they're lining up, because they do play a really physical, like bullish brand of basketball, and I'm really interested to see how that translates.
It's been really fun watching Team USA so far. Anthony Edwards, man, he looks like the best athlete on a team of great athletes
on the planet
already. Oh yeah, he might be the best, most explosive, 6'6" and under guy right now in the league. He is an absolute freak. And the fact that they're kind of unleashing him on the defensive end as well. He has some moments even in the NBA when he decides he wants to shut somebody down, that he does it. And so far, watching him on Team USA, it's really fun to see. The one thing that I just wanted to throw out there for you really quickly, and I'm putting you on the spot. Okay. My coworker, shout out to my guy, Brett Hazard today. He put me on the spot today, and he asked me if all American players were available and willing and healthy to play on Team USA, who would your top 10 guys be?
So every American player in the league is just available, healthy.
Yes.
I mean, you're just basically asking me my top 10 Americans in the NBA.
Kind of. It was actually a little bit harder than I thought today. There are some people that I left off.
Who did you leave off? That's the question first.
I left off Kawhi Leonard. So there's one guy left off. I left off Anthony Davis.
Both injury risks. You don't want to be having somebody go down mid-tournament. I understand this.
Yeah, so now I'm throwing it to you. No more stalling, my man.
All right, then. So I'm going to go Steph, Clay, LeBron. Okay, so those three in there. Tatum, obviously, Jaylen Brown. I feel like that's rounding out there. So I've got Steph, Clay, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, LeBron. I need a big. The big's the hardest part, right? Because the best bigs in the world in the NBA at the moment are not American.
Yeah.
Let me continue first. Who have I got? Steph, Clay, LeBron, Tatum.
Can I stop you on Clay? Why are you going Clay?
Just for the floor spacing. Just because I think that I'm very big on, if you like, the one thing that Team USA has an advantage on most teams in the world is explosiveness. But if you want guys getting down to the rim and exploding, you need people that are going to keep the defense stretched out. So Clay goes in just for that. Anthony Edwards for that explosiveness. He has to be there. Like, he's probably one of my favorite guys in the NBA right now. I'm still really struggling on who I would take at the 5. I'm going to have to take Anthony Davis just because I think, you know, if you can keep him healthy, he's going to dominate. You need a backup big man as well. It's the 5 spot that's really messing with me, man. Because
Yeah,
it's
it was hard for me. So I left Davis out. I'll give you the guys that I went with. So I went Steph, Booker, Tatum, Durant, and Bam. So that was the 5 that I had. Did those off the dome. And then I was debating between Dame Lillard as the backup point guard versus, I forget who was the other guy I was thinking at the back. Oh, or Kyrie. I was thinking Dame or Kyrie because
no Kyrie. Kyrie's getting left off instantly.
I know, but dude, like if he's surrounded by all those other superstars, you know that he's gonna
he's gonna turn it on. He's gonna be so good, dude.
He's gonna be awesome. You know, Kyrie's gonna be awesome. So I would have Kyrie as the backup point guard there. I like Anthony Davis. I changed my mind. I was gonna go Jaren Jackson Jr. as the backup 5 just because he's on the team.
That's the guy. So yeah. So let me start this again. So I'm going Steph. I'm going Clay. I'm going Jaylen Brown. I'm going D Book. That's my 4 guard, like my point guard and shooting guards, kind of rotating around. Then I'm going Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant. I'm going Anthony Davis, Jaren Jackson Jr. How many is that?
I think that's 7 or 8 for you. No, that's 9 for you. 9 for you.
So I just need one more forward, really. It's preferably somebody that could slide up and down, same way Tatum can, same way. Oh god, Anthony Edwards. There we go. I'm done.
Okay,
he's not even a forward, so you're gonna have to put Jaylen Brown up a position.
So Adam, you realize, and I almost did this earlier. You realize you just left LeBron off that team.
I did, and he was in my first team, and then I did it again, and I left him off. But
it's hard, man. It's hard. One of the things that I found from this exercise is there are a lot of guys, you know, like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Didn't mention them, and then Jimmy Butler. Right, we didn't even talk about Jimmy Butler there.
Zach LaVine got left off.
Zach LaVine,
Draymond, no one mentioned. If you want defense, you want Draymond, no one mentioned. I mean, there's so many. Lillard didn't get added. There's just so many, dude. So many talented players on the American Team USA. I really like what they've done this year, where they've gone young. No Halliburton. He's probably my favorite guard in the entire league. Do you know what? I'm sorry, but somebody's got to go. Clay, you're going to lose out. I'm going to replace you with Tyrese Halliburton. I have to.
Yeah, I think that's the right move at this point. And Adam, I know it's super late for you, so I apologize for putting you on the spot like that. But that's going to do it for this edition of Green with MV Quick Hits. Adam starts as the host. Greg finishes as the host. Kristaps Porzingis offseason is finished right now. He is on the shelf until training camp. Kristaps, rest up. Everybody, make sure you're tuning into the podcast, Green with Envy. And then Will and I will actually be hopping on the First to the Floor podcast tonight to compete against each other in a trivia matchup. So shout out to our guys at First to the Floor. Adam, it's been real. Go get some sleep, my guy.
Yeah, man, for sure. Appreciate it. I'll catch everybody later. I'll probably be doing like an Adam Taylor NBA quick hit tomorrow on something or other. I'm getting back into my normal schedule now. Greg, my guy, I'll catch you soon. Everybody stay sassy. I meant to